Hello everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something that probably affects you every single day, even if you don't always notice it. Our topic is why our attention span is getting shorter. Let me start with a simple question. When was the last time you watched a long video without checking your phone? Or read a book for more than 20 minutes without getting distracted? Or even just sat quietly without doing anything? If your answer is not recently, you're definitely not alone. In today's episode, we'll explore what attention span really means, why it seems to be shrinking, and what we can do about it. Don't worry, I'll keep everything clear and easy to follow, and I'll share some practical ideas you can try in your daily life. So, let's begin. First, what is attention span? Attention span is the amount of time you can focus on a task without getting distracted. It could be reading, listening, working, studying, or even having a conversation. Everyone has a different attention span, and it can change depending on the situation. For example, you might focus for hours when watching your favorite series, but only for a few minutes when doing homework or reading something difficult. So attention is not just about time, it's also about interest and motivation. Now, many people say that attention spans are getting shorter, especially in the digital age. You may have heard that people today can't focus like they used to. But is that really true? Research suggests that yes, in many cases, we are becoming more easily distracted. And one of the biggest reasons is technology. Let's talk about that. Think about how often you use your phone. Maybe you check messages, social media, news, emails, and videos, all in just a few minutes. Each time you switch between apps, your brain has to change focus. This constant switching is called task switching, and it makes it harder for your brain to stay focused on one thing. Even worse, many apps are designed to keep your attention for as long as possible. They use notifications, bright colors, and short, exciting content to make you come back again and again. For example, short videos on social media platforms are usually only a few seconds long. They are fast, interesting, and easy to watch. But because they are so short, your brain gets used to quick rewards. Over time, this can make longer tasks feel boring or difficult. Imagine your brain like a muscle. If you only train it to do short, easy exercises, it becomes harder to do long, challenging ones. Another important factor is information overload. We live in a world where we have access to more information than ever before. News, articles, videos, podcasts, there is always something new to read or watch. This might sound like a good thing, and in many ways, it is. But too much information can also be overwhelming. When your brain receives too much input, it has to decide what to focus on. And often, instead of going deep into one topic, it jumps quickly from one thing to another. This is sometimes called shallow attention. You understand a little bit about many things, but not deeply about one thing. And that can make it harder to concentrate for long periods. Let's also talk about multitasking. Many people believe they are good at multitasking, doing several things at the same time. For example, listening to music while studying, or watching TV while checking messages. But studies show that true multitasking is very difficult. What we actually do is switch quickly between tasks. Each time you switch, your brain needs a moment to adjust. This takes energy and reduces your ability to focus. So, if you often multitask, your brain becomes used to constant change. And again, this can shorten your attention span. Now, I want to mention something important. A shorter attention span is not necessarily a permanent problem. It's more like a habit. And habits can be changed. Before we talk about solutions, let's think about how this affects our lives. A shorter attention span can make it harder to learn new things. If you can't focus for long, it's difficult to understand complex ideas. It can also affect your work. Tasks may take longer because you get distracted easily. And even in your personal life, it can have an impact. For example, during conversations, you might stop listening carefully and start thinking about something else or checking your phone. This can affect relationships because people feel unheard or ignored. So yes, attention is very important, not just for productivity, but also for communication and connection. Now, let's move to the good part. What can we do to improve our attention span? I'll share a few simple strategies. The first one is to reduce distractions. This might sound obvious, but it's very powerful. When you want to focus, try to create an environment with fewer interruptions. For example, you can put your phone in another room, turn off notifications, or use apps that block distracting websites. Even small changes can make a big difference. The second strategy is to practice single tasking. Instead of doing many things at once, choose one task and give it your full attention. If you are reading, just read. If you are working, just work. At first, this might feel difficult, especially if you are used to multitasking. But with time, it becomes easier. And your brain will slowly learn to focus again. The third idea is to train your attention like a muscle. Remember the example I mentioned earlier? Your brain can get stronger with practice. You can start with short periods of focused work, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Then take a short break. This is sometimes called the Pomodoro technique. After a while, you can increase the time to 20, 30, or even 45 minutes. The key is consistency. Practice every day, even for a short time. Another helpful habit is mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment. For example, when you are eating, you focus on the taste and texture of your food. When you are walking, you notice your surroundings. You don't need to do long meditation sessions. Even a few minutes of mindful breathing can help your brain slow down and improve focus. Let's not forget about sleep. If you don't sleep well, your attention span will suffer. Your brain needs rest to function properly. Try to have a regular sleep schedule and avoid using screens before bedtime, because the light can affect your sleep quality. Finally, be patient with yourself. Improving your attention span takes time. You may still feel distracted sometimes, and that's normal. The goal is not to be perfect, but to make small, steady progress. Now, I'd like to share a simple example. Imagine you want to read a book in English. At first, you may only be able to read for 5 or 10 minutes before you lose focus. Instead of giving up, you can set a small goal, read for 10 minutes every day. After a week, increase it to 15 minutes. Then 20 minutes. Slowly, your attention span grows. And at the same time, your English improves. So you get 2 benefits at once. Before we finish, let's go back to our main question: why is our attention span getting shorter? We talked about technology, information overload, and multitasking. All of these factors train our brain to look for quick, easy stimulation. But the good news is that we can also train our brain in the opposite direction. We can choose to slow down, focus more deeply, and build better habits. It's not about completely avoiding technology. That's not realistic for most people. Instead, it's about using it in a more mindful way. For example, you can enjoy short videos, but also make time for longer, more meaningful activities. Balance is the key. As we come to the end of this episode, I'd like to leave you with a small challenge. Today, try to do one activity without any distractions for at least 15 minutes. It could be reading, studying, working, or even just listening to music. Notice how you feel. Is it difficult? Is it relaxing? Do you feel more focused? This small experiment can help you understand your own attention habits better. And that's the first step toward improving them. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode gave you some useful ideas and also helped you practice your English. If you enjoyed it, feel free to listen again, or share it with someone who might find it helpful. See you next time, and take care of your attention. It's one of your most valuable resources.